Okay. In the last class, we have learned about the displacement, velocity, and acceleration. Now we will see how we can apply those terms in these problems. Okay. So first problem, take down the problem. A stone is dropped from the top of a tower 60-meter high. At the same time, another stone is thrown upwards from the foot of the tower with a velocity of 30 meters per second. When and where the two stones cross each other? This is the question. Take down the question. Okay, have you finished the question? Okay, right. So we will see the question. A stone is dropped from the top of a tower. So let us consider this is the tower of height 60 meter. So the height of this tower is 60 meter, and we are throwing a stone, or not throwing, it is dropped from the top. So from this height, that is 60-meter height, a stone is dropped. So it will go like this. So one of the stone is going like this. At the same time, another stone is thrown upwards from the foot of the tower. So at the same time, another stone which is placed here, it is thrown upwards in this direction. It is thrown upwards with a velocity 30 meters per second. Okay. When and where the two stones cross each other? So at a particular point, the two stones will meet. Let it be this point. Let us say at this point, the two stones meet. That is with the same time. That is by taking time t, the stone from here, this particular point reaches the point here. At the same time, the second stone from this particular point reaches the point and it will meet. So here also the same time will be taken. That's why it is colliding. Okay. And the total height, we know the total height is 60 meter. So if we consider this height or this particular distance as x, then this distance will be the remaining portion, right? That is 60 minus x. This will be 60 minus x. So the total will be 60. So the first stone is being dropped from this particular point, that is, let it be A, B, and C. If it is like this, the first stone is dropped from the point A, and it will be going like this. And when it reaches B, at the same time, the another stone which is thrown upwards from the point C reaches at the point B. So the distances are taken like this. So we have to find when and where. When and where. That is the time t we have to find. Also where. That is the distance x we have to find. That is at which particular distance from the point A, or at which particular distance from point C these bodies collide. Okay. So we'll analyze each case. Before that, I will give a general introduction for the equations. That is, we have gone through 3 equations of motion, right? First one was v equal to u plus at. Second one was s equal to ut plus half at square. And another one was v square equal to u square plus 2as. So these were the equations where v is the final velocity, u is the initial velocity, a is the acceleration, t is the time taken, s is the displacement. Now we can consider 2 cases. 2 cases means first case is for freely falling body. Freely falling body. For freely falling bodies, that is in the first case, like this case, that is a stone being dropped from a particular height to a point. So what happens there? Initially, the velocity will be 0, right? Initially, the velocity will be 0, and it is being accelerated to a final velocity v, where the acceleration is given by a will be equal to g, that is 9.81 meter per second square, which is the acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration due to gravity. Okay, that you may be knowing. This is the case of a freely falling body. And now another case, that's the second case here, that is a body being thrown upwards. Body thrown upwards. So in that case, we will be having a particular value for initial velocity. It will be thrown with a velocity. So the initial value will be there. What we see is after a point, it will stop, right? So the final velocity will become 0 after some point, and it will come back. So in the first case, that is when it is thrown upwards, we will take the value of acceleration as minus g, because it is not accelerated but it is decelerated or retarded. That means the velocity is being decreased. So in that case, we will take A as minus g or minus 9.81 meter per second square. Okay. So these are the equations, that is v equal to u plus at, s equal to ut plus half at square, v square equal to u square plus 2as, and we can apply these equations for uniformly accelerated bodies. We can consider these only for uniformly accelerated. Uniformly accelerated. Uniformly accelerated means the acceleration will be uniform. That is, if we are having equal time gaps, t, that is whether it is no 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., these times, and the velocities v1, v2, v3. Velocity is increasing, but in the uniform manner. That this increasing, this particular increase, delta v, let it be 20, then this difference also 20. That means if it v1 is 10 and v2 is 30, then the difference is 20, right? So the next velocity, that is v3 is 50. There also the change in velocity is same. So throughout the process, the change in velocities are same with respect to time, equal time. Okay. So in that case, we can say it is uniformly accelerated. So in the uniformly accelerated case only, we can use these kind of equations. Okay. Now we can come to the problem. Okay. So the stone is dropped from the top of a tower 60-meter high. Okay. Now we can say the height, let it be h. The height is given as 60 meter. Okay. We can consider the case of the first stone. Okay, first stone, it is placed here. It is, we can consider the motion of the first stone. So there, let the initial velocity be u1, stone 1 equal to u1, which is equal to initial velocity. What was the initial velocity if we take the first case? It is starting from rest, then moving with or increasing the velocity one by one. Okay. So the initial velocity is it is 0. Next, the time taken t1, let us take it as t itself. So the second case also the same time is taken. So we will take it as general as t. These are the case for the first stone. Next, for the second stone, initial velocity. Second stone, the initial velocity is given here. It is thrown with a velocity 30 meter per second. So the initial velocity of the second stone is 30 meter per second, and the time taken to reach B is, that is t2 for the second stone, that is 2. It is also t. So both the values are same. Okay. Now we will consider the equation of motion for the first stone to reach here. Here, what all things are given? Initial velocity is given, that is u is given, displacement is given, s is given, time is there, t, and acceleration we know it is 9.81. So the relation connecting these values u, s, t, and a, which is that among those three equations, v equal to u plus at, no, v is not there, s equal to ut plus half at square, right? So we will use that relation, that is s is equal to ut plus half at square. Now in this case, what is the value of s? S is the displacement. S is the displacement, and here the displacement is x. So we will write as x equal to, instead of u, it is 0. So u into t, 0 into t, 0 into t, plus half into a is 9.81, right? 9.81 into t square, or we can write x equal to half into 9.81 t square. That will be equation number 1. Now the second case, the case of the second stone being thrown from point C to point B. There also we know the initial velocity. The initial velocity is given as 30 meter per second. The time taken is t. Displacement is 60 minus x. And acceleration is minus g, because it is decelerated, or it is being thrown upwards. So here also we can consider the relation, that is s equal to ut plus half at square, implies here the value of s is 60 minus x, which is equal to ut. Here you are having a value for u, that is 30 into t plus half into, instead of a, it is minus 9.81, minus is there, t square. So you have got two equations. Let it be equation number 2. Now on solving 1 and 2, you will get the value for t and x. Okay. So on solving 1 and 2, we will get the value for t and x. Just add it. You will get the value for t, and then substitute the value of t in either equation 1 or 2. You will get the value for x also. Just try to do that. And put the values in the chat box. Yeah, right. T equal to 2 seconds. T equal to 2 seconds. 2 seconds എഴുതുമ്പോൾ ഒരു കാര്യം ആലോചിക്കുക. 2 seconds ഇങ്ങനെ എഴുതി വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ചിലപ്പോൾ അത് പിന്നീട് അത് 25 ആയി മാറും. അപ്പോൾ പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് എൻ്റെ പോലെ വളരെ വൃത്തിയുള്ള ഹാൻഡ് റൈറ്റിംഗ് ആണെങ്കിൽ പറഞ്ഞറിയിക്കണ്ട. സോ വെനെവർ യു റൈറ്റ്, ഇങ്ങനൊരു സാധനം കൂടെ ഇട്ടാൽ നല്ലത്. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇങ്ങനെ അങ്ങ് ഇട്ടോ. 2 seconds. And the value for x is Right. 19.62. Meter. So did anyone get another value? വേറെ എന്തെങ്കിലും തെറ്റായിട്ട് കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ടോ? ആണെങ്കിൽ നോക്കുക, ഇതാണ് ആൻസർ. ഓക്കെ, so these are the values. T equal to 2 seconds and x equal to 19.62. So we can say the two stones will be meeting at a point which is at a distance 19.62 from the top of the tower. Okay, so I think everyone have done this. So those who have yet to finish, you can take down the values. So the next problem, a stone is dropped into a well, is heard to strike the water after 2 seconds. Find the depth of the well if the velocity of the sound is 340 meter per second. So take down the question. So finish the question. Okay. A stone is dropped into a well, is heard to strike the water after 2 seconds. That means we are dropping a stone from here in this position. So here, this is the depth of the wall, that is from the top portion towards the this particular portion where the water starts. Okay, this surface, this is the depth, let it be h. So we are dropping a stone from this particular point So it will move towards this particular point. So we know the initial velocity will be 0 and the velocity will be increasing, and with the final velocity it will reach this particular point at a time t. Okay, so it is said that what is this 2 seconds? This is not the time to reach the for the stone to reach here, but it is a combined time. That is, it is heard to strike the wall, strike the water. That means after this stone reaches the well or the bottom of the well, the sound of the hitting will be moving from this particular point towards here. Okay, the sound will travel from here. So both the time, that is the time t1, let us take time t1, that is solution. Time t1, time t1 t1 is the time for time for the stone to reach the water. So the time taken for the stone to reach the water is t1, and after hitting, what happens is there will be a sound will be generated, and sound travels from the bottom towards the top and reaches the ear of the person, right? So that time is t2. T2 is the time for sound to travel from bottom to top. Okay, so that is time t2. So this 2 seconds is the combined value, that is after 2 seconds from dropping, the sound is heard at the ear of the person. So we can say t1 plus t2 will be equal to 2 seconds. Okay, now regarding the motion of stone, it was like the earlier case, that is, it is uniformly accelerated due to acceleration due to gravity towards the bottom. There you can use a relation where a equal to g or 9.81. Now regarding the motion of sound, for sound there is no acceleration. It is uniform, it is having uniform velocity. That is, the velocity is not at all changing. That is, if the initial velocity is 340, after a particular time t1, the velocity is same, that is 340 itself. After some more time, also the same value. So throughout its travel, it continues in a uniform velocity. That means the acceleration is 0 or a equal to 0. So in that case, what will be the relation? That is, for the displacement will be, usually it is ut plus half at square, and if a is 0, then this term will go and s will be equal to ut. That is the usual equation, that is distance equal to speed into time, like that. Okay, so here you can say the acceleration is 0, so s equal to ut. So in this case, we can say s equal to ut plus half at square. Now for sound, for the sound, acceleration equal to 0. Therefore, the displacement is h itself. That is, we are considering the motion of the velocity from here to here. So h equal to u into t. U into the time is t2, right? And we are having the value for u, that is 340. It's 340 into t2. Now, in order to relate the equations, both conditions, we can say, we can express the time t2 in terms of t1. That is, we know t1 plus t2 is 2. That means t2 equal to t2 equal to 2 minus t1, right? So we can substitute this here, and we can write h equal to 340 into 2 minus t1. So why we did like this? Because in order to equate this with another equation that we will see now. So the next condition, that is for the stone to reach downwards, there the same relation, that is s equal to ut plus half at square, implies there the stone is being dropped from the top portion with uniform velocity as there uniform velocity is 0. So here h equal to uniform velocity is 0. So this term is 0 plus half into g, that is 9.81, into here the time is t1. T1 is the time for the stone square. So you got two relations. That is, first one is this h equal to 340 into 2 minus t1. This is equation number 1. And h is equal to half 9.81 t1 square. That is equation number 2. And on solving 1 and 2, we will get the value for the h and t. H and t. And what is asked for the question? Find the depth of the well. Okay, so we have to find the value for h. Find the value for h. Try to do that. Also, you can find the values for t1 and t2. It is not asked, but you can find the values. So what is the value for h? 9.69. 9.69. വരില്ലല്ലോ. Yeah, right. 17 point. അത് കറക്റ്റാണ്. 17 meters. Here the value for T1 is 1.95. T1 is 1.95 and T2 is 0.05. So on substitution, we will get the value 17 meters. Okay, fine. So this is the answer, 17 meter. Just try to do that. Okay. Now we'll consider another case or another topic. That is velocity time curve. Okay. Velocity time curve. Velocity time curve. So what is a velocity time curve? Velocity time curve. Velocity time curve means a curve with the abscissa or x-axis abscissa as a time and y-axis as the or ordinate as the velocity is termed as the velocity time curve. Curve will be like this. ഇങ്ങനെയാ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഈ രീതി നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നില്ല, ജസ്റ്റ് let us say whether it is like this. So this is the velocity time curve and the abscissa is the time. Abscissa ordinate അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ പേര് കേട്ടിട്ടില്ലേ? എന്താണ് ഈ abscissa? Abscissa ordinate തമ്മിൽ തെറ്റിപ്പോരുത്. Abscissa, ഓ ഹാൻഡ് റൈറ്റിംഗ് വളരെ നല്ലതായിട്ട് മനസ്സിലാവില്ല. ഓക്കെ, abscissa അതേപോലെ ordinate. And abscissa is the x-axis and ordinate is the y-axis. അത് ഓർക്കാൻ ഒരു എളുപ്പവഴിയുണ്ട്, വേറൊന്നുമല്ല. ഇപ്പോൾ ഓക്കെ, ഇതൊരു ജിമ്മനാണെന്ന് കരുതുക. ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ ഷോണിൻ ചെൽവരാജാന്ന് കരുതുക. ഷോണിൻ ചെൽവരാജിന് 6 പാക്ക് ആണെന്ന് കരുതുക. 6 പാക്ക് ആബ്സ്. ഈ ആബ്സ് ഇങ്ങനെയല്ലേ നമ്മൾ പൊതുവെ പറയാറ്, ആബ്സ്. ഇതെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്താണ്? എക്സ് ആക്സിസിലായിരിക്കും. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പോൾ ഓർക്കുക ഇങ്ങനെ വരുന്നത് ഇതാണ് ആബ്സിസ. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പോൾ ഇനി മറക്കരുത്, ആബ്സിസ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്താണ്? എക്സ് ആക്സിസ് ആൻഡ് അതല്ലാതെ വരുന്നത് എന്താണ്? അത് ഓർഡിനേറ്റ്, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് എ വൈ ആക്സിസ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇതിപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്ന ഇതൊന്നും അല്ല. അപ്പോൾ വെലോസിറ്റി ടൈം കർവ് എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ഷോണിൻ ചെൽവരാജിനെ വരച്ചു വെക്കരുത്. It is nothing but a curve with the x-axis as the time and velocity as the y-axis. ഇനി ഇതിന്റെ പ്രത്യേകത എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്തായിരിക്കും? The area enclosed by the curve gives the displacement. So area under the curve will give you the displacement. And the slope gives the acceleration. Slope of the curve will gives the acceleration. The slope എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ എന്തായിരിക്കും? ഇവിടെ എന്തായിരിക്കും? Change in velocity by change in time. Change in velocity, that is dv. Change in time is dt. Then dv by dt is the slope, which is the acceleration. ഇനി അതെങ്ങനെയാണെന്ന് നമുക്ക് നോക്കാം. വെലോസിറ്റി സാധാരണഗതിയിൽ ഇതിപ്പോൾ എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഇതിൻ്റെ ഒരു തിയറി ജസ്റ്റ് പറയുന്നതേ ഉള്ളൂ. വെലോസിറ്റി ക്യാൻ ബി റെപ്രസെൻറ്റഡ് ആസ് ds by dt. That is the change in displacement by with respect to time is the velocity. നമുക്കറിയാം അല്ലേ, ds by dt ഇങ്ങനെ നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞായിരുന്നു അല്ലേ, instantaneous velocity equal to ds by dt. And now we can move it into variable separable form as v dt equal to ds, v dt equal to ds, or ds equal to v dt, or we are applying integral on both sides, ds integral ds equal to integral v dt, or we can say s equal to integral v dt. That means the displacement is the integral of v into dt. V into dt is the integral v dt is the area enclosed by the curve. So this is the first statement here. That is the area under the curve gives the displacement. So whenever a velocity time curve is given, the area under the curve will give you the displacement. Now we also know that dv by dt is acceleration, or instantaneous acceleration is given by dv by dt. We have seen in the last class. So in this figure, dv by dt is the slope. So the slope of the curve gives the acceleration. This is the second condition. So these are about the velocity time curve. So what is the velocity time curve? Velocity time curve is the curve with the x-axis or the abscissa, or the time taken in the abscissa, and velocity along the ordinate or the y-axis. And what is the peculiarity? Here the area under the curve gives you the displacement, and the slope gives the acceleration. Now we can consider two cases. First case, case 1, that is when the velocity is uniform. When the velocity is uniform. What is meant by this? Velocity is uniform. That is, velocity is not at all changing. If the initial value of the velocity is 10 meter per second, then after t seconds also the velocity is 10 meter per second. After a short while, then also it is 10 meter per second. So it is not at all increasing. Sorry, not like that. Velocity is uniform means it may be increasing, but I'll show you. That is okay. You can say this is the time and this is the velocity. So once again I will tell you. Here the velocity is not increasing. That is the point. That is, the velocity is not at all increasing. It is remaining the same value. That is uniform. So at the time t equal to 0, here time equal to 0. Let it be 2 seconds, 4 seconds, 6 seconds, 8 seconds, 10 seconds, and go on. Here it is having a particular velocity. Say it is v1. Here also v1. Here also v1. here also v1, same value. So joining, so the velocity time curve will go like this. So let the velocity be let it be u. So throughout the value, the velocity will be u itself. So what will be the area? Area enclosed by this curve, that is length into breadth, right? This is let it be t, and this value is the constant value, that is u. So the area will be u into t, that is a displacement. Displacement is equal to u into t. This is a case where the velocity is uniform. So whenever the velocity is uniform, that means the acceleration is, what is the acceleration? There is no change in the velocity from initial to final. So in that case, the acceleration will be zero. Acceleration will be zero. Also, we can see here, there is no slope. Acceleration is given by the slope, dv by dt. Here there is no change in velocity. There is no dv. So acceleration is zero. And also the displacement is s equal to ut, or we can get it from the area. Now the next case case 2, you can say if the velocity is increasing linearly, velocity increasing linearly, meaning if we consider the graph, this is the time along the abscissa and the velocity along the coordinates. If the velocity is being increased linearly, non-linear എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്താണ്? ഇങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ പോകും അല്ലേ? Linearly എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ എന്തായിരിക്കും? Along a straight line. Along a straight line. That means if it is increasing in this type fashion, so what will be the case of displacement and acceleration? We will see. Here you can split this into two. Split the area like this, like the case of moment of inertia and all you have done. Here you can see a uniform portion, that is a rectangle, and then the triangular portion. Okay. So what happens is, this is time t1, where t equal to 0, then and this is t1, t2, t3, etc., 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 up to time t. So the total time t, let the initial velocity at this point, initial value of the velocity be u, and the final value, let it be velocity capital B, final velocity b. Now you know the relation, that is b equal to u plus at, right? B equal to u plus at. So this is u plus at, and we know this particular distance is u, that is, this is u. So automatically this will be at, u, because b equal to u plus at. So this is at and this is u, and this is the time or t. So the total area under this curve will gives the displacement. So let us consider this is the area A1 and this is area A2. Then A1 will be a triangle with the area, what is that? T into AT, T into AT, or it is AT square, sorry, half into T into AT square, that is half AT square, half into length into breadth. Now area A2 is given by length into breadth, that is T into U, or it is UT. So the total area enclosed is A1 plus A2, which gives the displacement. So the displacement S equal to A1 plus A2, which is half AT square, plus UT, or we can rearrange and write S equal to UT plus half AT square. So we have seen the relation. Okay. This is what about the velocity time curve. ഈ രണ്ട് കേസ് ജസ്റ്റ് ഒന്ന് നോട്ട് ഡൗൺ ചെയ്ത് വെച്ചോ. ഇത് നിങ്ങളുടെ നോട്ട്സിലുണ്ടാവും, നോട്ട് ചെയ്തില്ലെങ്കിലും കുഴപ്പമില്ല, ജസ്റ്റ് ഒന്ന് മനസ്സിലാക്കിയാൽ മതി. ഓക്കെ. ജസ്റ്റ് നമുക്കൊരു ചെറിയൊരു പ്രോബ്ലം കൂടെ ചെയ്തിട്ട് നമുക്ക് നിർത്താം. ഓക്കെ. നെക്സ്റ്റ് ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ എഴുതിക്കോ. A train travels between two stopping stations. Seven kilometers apart in 14 minutes. Assuming that its motion is one of uniform acceleration for part of the journey, and uniform retardation for the rest. Prove that the greatest speed on the journey is 60 kilometers per hour. Okay, Take down the question. You finished the question. Somebody please respond. Okay, fine. So, what is given in the question? A train travels between two stopping stations. So, two stopping stations, that means ah, this is one station and this is another station. So, stopping station, that means there the value of velocity will be 0. Here also the velocity will be 0. And between them it will be accelerated. The velocity increases and then it decreases. So it is 7 kilometers apart, 7 kilometers apart, and it takes 14 minutes. Total time taken is t equal to 14 minutes. 14 minutes. Now, assuming that the motion is one uniform acceleration for the part of the journey and uniform retardation for the rest. That is, first of all, it is accelerated and it is uniformly accelerated. That means it is linearly accelerated. That is, while considering the velocity time graph, you can consider the velocity time graph like this. That is time, and this is the velocity. From the first stopping station, this is the first stopping station, it is being uniformly accelerated to a particular point. Then it is uniformly decelerated and it reaches the 0, next stopping station. Okay, so this is the velocity. So initially the velocity was 0, then it is increasing, then up to a particular value, then it is retarded. These two portions it is given here, assuming that the motion is one uniform acceleration, that is up to here for the part of journey, and then uniform retardation for the rest. For the rest portion, it is uniformly retarded. Now, prove that the greatest speed is 60 kilometers per hour. So here from the figure itself, you can see this is the maximum value of the velocity. So we are asked to find or prove that this particular velocity, that is let it be u, this particular value, and this u will be equal to u, or you can say it is the Vmax, velocity maximum. Okay, maximum velocity is 60 kilometers per hour. You have to find that or prove that. Okay. Now, but we know that if you are given a velocity time graph, then What is the area? The area gives you the displacement, and the slope gives the what you call acceleration. So now this is a particular triangle, and it is given the displacement is, so in the question it is given the displacement as 7 kilometer, 7 kilometer, and the time taken is 14 minutes. Since it is in kilometer per hour, here the time also we can convert it into hour. So in order to convert to hour, 14 divided by 60, and you will get, that will be like that as such, this particular hours. Now from this, you know, what is the displacement or the area? What is the area under this curve? This is time t, and this height is V max. So we can say the area enclosed by the curve gives the displacement, which is half into B into H, that is B is T into H is V max. Now substituting the values, that is x is equal to 7 half into T is given, that is 14 by 60 into V max. That implies V max equal to 7 into 2 into 60 divided by 14, which is 60 kilometer per hour. So it is proved that the velocity maximum is 60 kilometer per hour. Okay. So I think it's time to wind up. Now I'll take the attendance.